Hey guys, it's Oz, back again, episode 5. So, there I was, one day I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom at my parents' house. I got up and I started walking toward the bathroom door, and something happened. I got tunnel vision. Everything started going, and then as my tunnel vision started, everything started closing off. It got darker and darker. I pretty much went out. I pitched backwards and fell and hit my head. Luckily I missed the tub, I missed the toilet, I missed the sink. That could have been disastrous, and you'll understand why soon. But I pitched back, I fell, I was on the floor. Apparently when I did so, I had knocked something over in the bathroom and kind of covered the door a little bit. Luckily, some of our friends had been over. My parents heard me fall. My friends heard us fall. It was the lady I had spoken about in the second video. Her and her husband were over. The lady who was the mom as well as a nurse. So our friend, my dad, as you'll see when I do the video, is a very slight guy. He's smaller. Our friend is not. He's a bigger guy. He's like me. He's got more girth to him. He's able to move things a lot easier. So there I was on the floor, knocked out once again. I know it's a recurring theme, and I know it's probably getting sickening to hear about, but yeah, I was out again. I was on the floor. They got in. She checked me, made sure I was okay. They called the ambulance. The ambulance came in. They put me on a stretcher. They brought me out. I went to the hospital. More imaging guys. When it comes to my head, neck, and spine, I have lost count at how many x-rays, MRIs, and CT scans I've had. I've probably had enough radiation shot at my body at this point to become a superhero. At least if you're anybody who follows comic books. But no, I was brought to the ER and told the same thing I had been told by every other time I had gone there. I was sent home the same as I was sent home every other time I had gone there. And things were left at that. Now at this point I had begun my divorce process. I had gotten to a point where I was able to leave the house some. Very, very short shopping trips. I would go to Walmart with my parents and things like that. I would be there 15 minutes or so, and that would be it. I would be done. I couldn't handle any longer than that. So my shopping trips were not that long. They were not marathon shopping trips. I was not going out grocery shopping because that took too long. I was not going out and buying myself different things that I wanted. I would go to the store and get specifically what I need, get myself back out, get to the car, and be done. I was using at that point, because I was so afraid to fall, I was using those motorized carts in Walmart. Everything to me was a chance at another head injury. Every time I stood up, it was another opportunity to fall. Every time I had anything come anywhere near my head, it was an obstacle. It was something that could hit me. It was an obstruction. It was something that could cause me more damage. So I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing. My neurologist checked me out. Again, by that point, he just kind of threw his hands up in the air and said, "There ain't much more we can do for you. Come see us when you have problems, but things are as they are. Your brain is scrambled. You need to take it easy for a few weeks again." And I did. I went forward with that. I I did the same thing. I stopped watching TV for a while. I stopped getting on the computer for a while. Things got a little better. I started going back to the TV and back to the computer, but that was all I did. It was at that point that I really started finding online shopping. I got hooked up with Amazon. I got hooked up with Wish. I got hooked up with a couple different sites that I liked. And I really started spending what money I had. I didn't have much at that point. I wasn't working, obviously. I was getting money each month from the state. I wasn't yet on disability. I had applied, but for any of you out there who have applied before, you know how long it takes. Typically, for anybody who has a traumatic brain injury, you guys understand how much longer it takes because our injury can't be seen. Our injury is not something that you can look at and see. Someone who loses an arm, someone who is a paraplegic, someone who has any sort of physical deformity, that disability can be seen. Someone who's blind, like my friend, that disability can be seen externally. So therefore, it's automatically considered more acceptable for disability. Depression, anxiety, head injuries, panic attacks, anything like that is invisible. You can't see it physically. You have to have doctors, you have to have therapists, you have to have a whole gamut of people in your corner to get you on something like that, because they don't want to believe that there's anything wrong with you because they can't see it. So you are put in a box. You are compartmentalized. You are a non-desirable. You are scamming the system. When I got my first handicapped placard, when I would go out to Walmart, when I would go out to wherever I went that I used my walker, or when I used one of those carts, people would look and you could see on their face that they were thinking, what's wrong with him? Why has he got that? He's a young looking guy. He shouldn't be needing a cart. He shouldn't be needing a walker. Why is he parking, or at this point my parents, because I had stopped driving, why is he in a handicapped parking space? But not every disability can be seen. Not every disability is something that presents physically. There are many, many disabilities that are quote unquote invisible. And society, the rest of us. Because I know prior to me having this, I think I did the same thing. I would see somebody in one of those, Rovers or whatever, and I would think, why are they in there? They look perfectly healthy to me. Since then, I've got to say I haven't. Since I received my head injury, since I had to start using that kind of thing myself, I understand a lot more. You can't be like that. You can't look at people and think that way. Everybody is going through a struggle. And we on the outside can't understand that person's struggle. We cannot know what they're going through in that moment. So, in a way, this head injury, for me, was an eye-opener. It taught me to be more empathetic to people. It taught me that I needed to give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt that I may not have before, but now, or that I was expecting other people to give me the benefit of the doubt, I realized I had to do the same. And again, it wasn't an easy thing to come to, but it was right. And as a society, it's what we need to do. We look at people who are on disability, and if they don't have a physical deformity of some kind, if they're not blind, if they're not deaf, if they're not missing a limb, paralyzed in some way, shape, or form, or something like that, we poo-poo it. We say that person doesn't deserve to be on it, that person doesn't need this. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, you do. If you cannot work for some reason, if you are mentally incapable because of anxiety, because of depression, because of panic attacks, agoraphobia, because of any of those issues, if you've got a traumatic brain injury and for some reason you can't perform a job, you are just as disabled as anyone else. Now, don't let your disability define you, but do understand that maybe at that point, maybe right then, work is not the best place for you. Maybe you need to heal up. Maybe it's going to be a permanent thing. For some people it is. I can't deny that. But for some of us, we're able to get past and go back to something meaningful for employment. Some way to make some kind of money. Some way to feel like the person we were before. That's what we're looking for. As disabled people, I will say, speaking on behalf of any disabled person that I know, that's what we're looking for. We want to be not exactly who we were, because we understand we'll never get back there, but we want to be seen as a full member of society. We don't want to be seen as lower than someone else because of our injury and our inability to work, our inability to do what we used to do. It hurts us on a daily basis. It pounds in our head. It pounds in our heart to know we can't be who we once were. But we press on and we fight. And in that fight, we do the best we can. And sometimes it ain't what we need. Sometimes it ain't what society wants. But as a whole, as a community, as a world, what we need to do is we need to understand that every person has their own issues. Every person is going through something. We are not an island unto ourselves. Everyone has problems, and everyone needs to understand that we need to not pass judgment on others. We need to not think that we're better than someone else because maybe we're working, we're making a lot of money, whereas someone else is either unable to work or has a lesser job and therefore is making less money. Everyone has something to contribute. Everyone is a viable member of society. Every person out there adds something to the world, and we need to respect and honor them for that. Yeah, there's people out there that are making tons and tons of money, these Forbes 500 owners. We've got people like Elon Musk. We've got people like Jeff Bezos who are multi-million, if not billionaires, making money hand over fist. But they're no different than someone like me. They have more ability at this point, maybe physically. They have more availability to resources because their money got them to that point. But they're no different than me when it comes right down to it. They're no different than any of us when it comes right down to it. We're all humans. We're all flawed. We all have issues. And if you see someone, they're in a wheelchair, don't look at them and think, why are they there? If you see someone parking in a handicapped parking spot and they get out of their car and they walk to the thing and they don't seem to have a limp, they don't seem to have any other issue you can physically see, doesn't mean they don't deserve that space. There's something going on with that person right now. There's some reason that a doctor felt that person needed that handicap placard, that a doctor felt that person was not able to go back to work. And we need to honor and respect that. We need to look and say, that person is in need right now. I don't need to pass judgment on whether or not they're in need. It's not my place to say. Everybody's going through something. I would hope with this pandemic, with everything that's been going on with COVID, that would open our eyes a little bit more. That would open some people's brains to understand that you are not the person to pass judgment on someone else who may have or may not have a disability. It's not your place. The person has a team of doctors. I know I did. It wasn't just one doctor. It wasn't just my primary care. I had seen by that point 3 neurologists. I was on my 3rd neurologist at that point. So I've had, at that point, 3 neurologists. I've had 2 or 3 different therapists. I've had my doctor. I've had plenty of different people who were looking out for me. I've had plenty of different people who were on my side saying there's something wrong with you. But the disability people said, no, doesn't look right. We're not quite there yet. You need more. You're not disabled. And like I said, when I went out in public, I could see it on people's faces. I could see that look of disdain. I could see that look of, why does he get to park there and I don't? And it brought me back to a time before my head injury, and I looked at people the same way, and I really took it to heart, and I said, wow, I was wrong to feel that way. I should never assume that I know better than someone else what's going on in their own body, what's going on with their own mental status, what's going on with their physical status. So, guys, I hope this one touched you. I hope this one kind of got to your heart. I know I didn't talk a whole hell of a lot about my actual injury. Again, this one was kind of a very simple head injury. Nothing more really seemed to come about from this. As we get to the last one, you will understand why that one was so bad. But guys, again, please like my videos, comment, subscribe, go to my Soothing Nature one. You'll know it because the profile pic is of a moon, a picture of the moon that I took myself prior to my head injury, prior to my final head injury. It was in between that time. So guys, I hope that what I spoke about in this particular video opens your eyes a little bit more if it's needed. I hope you understand a little more what some of us go through, and I hope you keep listening. Alright guys, I was out.